Hi, my name is Melinda. I'm a licensed funeral director and embalmer. I specialize in extensive restorative art, oversized embalming, undersize embalming, wasting illness embalming, and embalming for the straight case for the most natural results possible. I was part of a team that was ranked #1 in decedent appearance as ranked by families out of over 2,500 funeral homes. And I'm also a fine artist. I painted that and that. I do portrait work. And I'm doing a series on embalming from an artistic perspective as well as a technical perspective to hopefully help somebody out and pass on some tips and tricks to anyone who may want them. Today I wanted to cover something more technical. I wanted to talk about circulation and distribution. So, of course, there are chemicals that can boost circulation, things like Metaflow. Pause here if you want to read this. Things like Calcic. I know different embalming companies sell different products to facilitate this. But for circulation, of course, what we want to do is make sure that it's thorough and that we are getting everything that we need to best maintain the integrity of the person for the duration that we need to maintain them for. Or a trick that I use for circulation is that I make pinpricks on the tips of the middle fingers and the big toes, and literally it's just a tiny puncture. The same as you would get from a diabetic blood testing. That's all you need. It doesn't need to be particularly deep, but it does need to break the skin. So with this, when we begin the embalming machine, the result should be that we would not get any, when pressing on that puncture, that we wouldn't get any droplet. And if the embalming machine is getting circulation, we should get a tiny droplet or a tiny bit of return of embalming fluid. You can get a false positive in this scenario. This is very important. I hope out of anything that you're listening to, if you use this technique, that this is taken, you can get a false positive. The easiest way to catch this false positive is to do this before the embalming actually takes place and see what it is, the reaction that you're getting when this technique is performed. As in, let's say no machine is on and the person is on the embalming surface. So when we make that puncture and we press down on the finger, if we are already getting return, that just means that we have a good amount of pressure or fluid that is pooled to the extremities. And you must check both right and left hands and feet. So if we're getting that false positive, what we can do to counteract this is when we turn on the embalming machine and, attach to the circulatory system, what we're looking for is embalming machine return. So whatever's in your fluid tank, your embalming fluid tank, that's what you should be seeing when we press down on the fingers or on the toes. One thing I forgot to mention is that just because you're not getting fluid return immediately from the embalming machine doesn't mean that it's not working. So just like it takes time for your blood to pump from your heart to your feet, give it a few minutes and just watch. And if we don't have that, that means that that fluid's not reaching that extremity, which is of course an indicator to embalm that extremity separately or hypo that extremity separately, because anybody who is embalmed for any amount of time knows that when we don't have proper distribution, that could cause problems down the line. So of course we can't really do this with the face. The best way that I check for circulation through the face, because there can be blockages on one or other side. So when we are looking for circulation through the face, we want to look for mild distension. We'll see changing colors. If you pull back the lip, you'll often see, if you are using just a little bit of dye, you'll see that color change take place in the inner portions of the mouth. That's also an easy way to see that. Sometimes you can see it in the eyelids. It just shows that we are getting circulation throughout the face and all the subsequent portions of the head itself. This is a bit more straightforward of a video, so I hope that this was helpful to you. Feel free to follow me. I'm on YouTube as well. I've been considering doing different kinds of content that kind of branch away from embalming. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. My handle is Artful Embalming on all of them. I'm still getting my sea legs in how to really work the online sector, but thank you so much for watching. This is a journey for me too, and I hope you found this helpful in some way. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate your patronage. Thank you again.